Welcome back to What She Said Sports. All right, so we're going to give it a few minutes. I did not start with an intro intentionally. We had one twice today, so we're back. Tonight's conversation, Jake Retzlaff, the sketchy exit from BYU, the implications for CYU's Colorado's season. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to give it a minute for people to get the notification and join us. So I'll just be sitting right here chilling till people join us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our third live stream of today. This should be a good one as well because there are people discussing this topic, but you have to go look for it. And I received 2 emails about it. So I'm like, you know what? We're going to talk about this conversation, what it means for CU now that BYU has lost their quarterback, his sketchy exit. We're going to reveal some truths and clear up some confusion. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. We're going to clear up some confusion regarding the case that was filed against Jake, as well as he's in the portal now. This, that, and the other. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, all right. Hey, Crowley. Hey, Echo. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Tina. All right, Political Lil. All right, the squad is here. All right, gang. So I told y'all we would talk about the Jake Retzlaff situation. Okay, first and foremost, yes, there were charges or allegations. There were allegations of SA, strangulation, and biting. Now, those types of charges, in order to kind of get to the next level where somebody believes that there's probable cause, I would imagine that there's some kind of evidence of the physicality, some type of marks on the neck or teeth marks. Because when you allege biting, there has to be teeth marks at least. In other words, you can't just walk up and say, hey, this happened to me. I need some kind of proof, right? To say that I know the person, I've been engaged with the person, that the situation happened on this day, and these are the photos that show that there's some truth, because you can't just go around accusing people like that. So, after that came out, as you know, Jake Retzlaff went to BYU, Brigham Young University, and Mormon country, owned by the Latter-day Saints or affiliated with the Latter-day Saints, and they have an honor code. That's what I think I showed on the thumbnail. And the honor code, they're supposed to be chaste. You can't have premarital relations. And as a result of the allegations, whether they were true or false, that had not been determined. It was just a lawsuit levied, a civil lawsuit. There was no determination of guilt or innocence, but the fact that premarital relations took place that violated BYU's honor code. Therefore, BYU stood by their honor code, regardless of who you are. If you violate, it's a 7-game suspension. So that's what he got, a 7-game suspension. Now, Jake Retzlaff, this is his last season. This is his last year of eligibility coming up. So they only play 12 games unless they go like to the Alamo Bowl or some other bowl like we did. Why do we know BYU, Jake Retzlaff? Because Colorado played BYU in the Alamo Bowl. So 7-game suspension for violating the honor code. Wow, that's a lot, right? That's the majority of your season. I'm trying to get to the NFL. Somebody actually shared today, I think Life in Football shared a top 20 ranking of college quarterbacks, a top 25. He was like number 19 or 20. He's on the list. He's on the list as number 19 or 20, but he's on the list of notable quarterbacks out of all the D1 programs out there. Caden was on there at number 15. So with him being ranked, having the opportunity to get to the NFL, he bounced. He left BYU and entered the transfer portal. I looked him up in the portal. He's only a 3-star. It's not like he's a 5-star or 4-star QB. He's a 3-star. So the question is, will he languish in the portal? Some people are like, well, who the hell needs a quarterback right now? Because the portal's closed. Nobody's expecting any other transactions. Uh, what schools could he go to? Somebody will like Notre Dame. They're like, no, not with those kind of allegations. And this is where the conversation takes a turn. They're like, um, people are saying that his accuser who went to Utah, they believe that because she went to Utah, that this was intentional to hurt his eligibility or get him kicked out of school because everybody knows that BYU, the honor code, they stand by it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that could be. Then it moves on to, uh, did this happen? Did the accuser file the case? And then when he hopped in the portal, did she drop the charges? And was this a way to get him to leave BYU? Now, let me say this. She did not drop the charges. As you can see right here on the screen, it tells you it was a joint dismissal, which means they came to an agreement. See, that's different. See, people are thinking she just woke up and said, I dropped the charges. No, his lawyers and her lawyers came to an agreement, likely decided upon what each side would deal with. So, what does that sound like to you? Exactly what it sounds like is likely what it kind of maybe really kind of is. But you can't say for sure. So, he's no longer looking at these allegations. But to be honest with you, biting is serious, right? And if you likely did something like that once, you likely did it again, especially as an adult. Uh, Biting is something people look at like there's something wrong with you if you bite on another person, right? And then the whole strangulation type scenario, like I said, they have to have at least some kind of photos to come to an agreement. Who's agreeing that I did that with no evidence? Nobody. So they came to an agreement. Then, because they came to an agreement, the judge said, okay, case dismissed without prejudice. Neither one of y'all can bring it up again. When people heard that, they assumed she was lying and the judge was citing to say, oh, she lied. No, they came to an agreement. This young man is supposedly a future NFL player within the next 365 days, right? Uh, I could kind of see a case where maybe there was some type of agreement uh to move off of these charges so that he could move on with his life, right? He was going to leave BYU anyway. So whether or not this was intentional to get him to leave BYU, I think he could have just hopped in the portal anyway. So I don't see why you would want to damage your reputation and leave a cloud over you of SA and biting and this, that, and the other because you want to leave BYU. You could have just got up and left, right? Am I right? He could have just got up and left. I do believe that that's how that works. You could just hop in the portal anytime you want to. But the question is, when can you exit the portal? So Retzlaff's exit from BYU is sketchy because they came to an agreement. And again, you don't just get to levy these types of charges without some form of evidence. And also, there's not a lot of people that's going to come to an agreement without evidence. So, uh, that's where he is on that. So he was able to leave BYU, leave these allegations behind. He's a 3-star. He is in the portal. People don't believe that Notre Dame, who's a Catholic university, would pick him up. They don't need a quarterback. They have two. Uh, a lot of people don't need a quarterback. So I got to thinking. I said, the portal's closed. So I can't see a school enticing him to get into the portal right now. Because normally when people entice you to get into the portal, it's to get you right out. Right. And normally there's some kind of money. Right. And he could have did that anyway without these allegations. So I don't think this was done so he could leave BYU. He could do that anyway, especially not wanting to experience a 7-game suspension, which called into question his integrity. His lack of wanting to be held accountable. What was more important to him? To get to play football for the rest of the season or to stay behind at BYU and go, I violated the honor code, and I'm going to just deal with my 7 game suspension and let what happens. He wasn't willing to do that. He wasn't willing to do that, regardless of guilt or innocence. And again, that had not been determined. So it seems they cleared the path. Once the 7 game suspension was levied, they cleared the path by coming to an agreement. So the charges won't follow him, making it easy for him to go to a different school, whether it's a Notre Dame or a Baylor. All of these schools have moral codes, right? You have to carry yourself in a certain way. And while it might not be as strict as BYU, Baylor does have their own moral code. Notre Dame does have their own moral code. And while some schools probably don't even care about that because, that's not an issue at their school. The question is, what school needs a quarterback right now? And that's how you're going to find out in a couple of days how long he sits in the portal. Nico wasn't in the portal for a week. And we know how it went at Tennessee. It was an ugly departure, but he wasn't in there. I don't even think he was in there 3 days. So we'll see how long Retzlaff is in the portal and who picks him up that could maybe give you a clue about the sketchiness. I think personally, it's exactly what it looks like. There were allegations. There was a moral code, 7 game suspension. I'm not about to languish here for seven games. I'm going to another school. Peace out. The priority is, hey, I could be in the NFL next year. So I'm going to go somewhere else and play. But then I need to clear the path on what? My reputation. So we're going to come to an agreement. That's exactly what I think happened. I'm trying to leave, so I don't want to take this with me. It's going to be easier for me to leave if my family, we come to an agreement. And that's probably what happened. So what does this mean for Colorado? Right? We played BYU in the Alamo Bowl and we lost. They didn't have a lot of players go to the NFL, so they still have probably an intact team with the exception of their quarterback, but he was only a 3-star. So that got me to ask, was he going to be the starter? Was the quarterback for BYU this year, the starter, going to be a 3-star? And I get it. That 3-star probably beat us in, San Antonio, but we beat ourselves. Let's just be honest. It was some internal turmoil going on there, right? So I guess that was going to be their starter. So I don't know who the starter is going to be now. But we were tied for first place with them. And now they're out of the way. So chances are the portal's closed. I don't know who else they going to get. BYU might not be a problem. So it's a little bit easier for CU to get closer to what? The Big 12 championship. That's the implication for CU. The team we lost to and we're tied with for first place is a non-factor, provided we do what we need to do. So that's the implication for CU. Well, we don't have to worry about BYU this year. So all we have to worry about is who? Arizona State, Iowa State, probably Kansas State, right? So those types of things. So let me see what y'all are saying, because that's where we are with this. Like I said, you have to go look for the story. It's just not out there circulating in the news. Again, if this were a different school, I think it still would be an issue in terms of the civil lawsuit because of what was alleged. And I would imagine that there's some kind of evidence, or I'm not agreeing to nothing. But I doubt that there would be a 7-game suspension. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger had the same type of allegations, and the NFL didn't even suspend him the first time. They suspended him the second time. And that takes me back to what I said when I started this conversation. If she has proof of that type of behavior, that ain't the first time. Biting people is looked at like you not all the way okay up here, because that's not what adults do, right? And chances are, if it has happened again, it will come up. Just like Ben Roethlisberger. It came up twice, and then the NFL decided to suspend him. Now, first of all, he has to get picked up by a school, and then he has to see how this is going to affect his draft stock. People have told me, I think Peyton Manning went through something similar. I haven't had a chance to look into it. I shall. And we can look at how his draft stock went. And if it didn't affect his draft stock, then it might not affect Retzlaff, right? He's leaving BYU so that the situation and the suspension does not affect his draft stock. And where he ends up and how long he sits in the portal will kind of tell you what you need to know. But I will tell you this. People are saying, oh, well, I'm not a lawyer, so I really can't speak on this. Okay, you don't have to be a lawyer. You have to know how to read, right? You just have to know how to read. And other schools that are considering him know how to read. Their legal counsels know how to read. And just like I picked up what it says and put it here for you, they came to an agreement. Doesn't mean he's innocent. And you can't just get a case, a lawsuit against somebody without some type of evidence. And the whole biting thing, the whole strangulation thing, these things leave marks. And that's why I'm wondering if they came to an agreement, because there's something there. And if so, another school will look at that and go, nah. See, that's what Pittsburgh should have done with Aaron Rodgers, because Danica Patrick, her allegations came out before he got to Pittsburgh. And see, now he's like, yep, last year, next year is my last year. So they done passed up a whole franchise quarterback for somebody for 1 year with domestic violence allegations. Again, what Danica Patrick alleged, there has to be evidence. Based on what she said, is something. Nobody has called her a liar, not even him. So there's something there. And I don't understand why these teams, these leagues, people are praising BYU for standing by its honor code and not giving Retzlaff preferential treatment. But I don't understand why, like, the league allows this. You got colleges who won't allow it. But what he was facing before they came to an agreement, the NFL would have allowed, because they allowed it with Roethlisberger. They're allowing it with Aaron Rodgers. You see what I'm saying? But who they want to talk about for speedy? Shedeur Sanders. And that's why you see the disparity in the treatment between black quarterbacks and white quarterbacks. That's exactly what this shows, because it's probably not going to have an effect on his draft stock if people feel like they can talk to enough people behind the scenes to find out, has this happened before? Because we don't want to get caught up in the second case, like Ben Roethlisberger. Why did it take 2 cases? But all people want to talk about is 2 speeding tickets, because they want to look away. And that's what happens in these types of situations. Let's just say we're not talking about Retzlaff. We're talking about period. Let's just say the person in the same situation that we don't know ends up in the same situation Retzlaff was in. And for whatever reason, this particular case, they come to an agreement. What do you do in less than 6 months if another one pop up? Right? To me, you need to move a little careful and not be so eager to coddle. In the case of Ben Roethlisberger, they didn't even suspend him, and he settled the lawsuit. And you don't even hear about that. All you hear about regarding Roethlisberger is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? So eager to dismiss and coddle, but then when it's a black quarterback, wanna harp on a speeding ticket. And this is after you bullied me. This is after I've been under duress based on your behavior. And I took accountability for my speeding tickets. But is anybody saying anything about Retzlaff hopping into the portal to escape a 7-game suspension? Where's the accountability? The disparity in treatment from white quarterbacks to black quarterbacks. And both Deshaun Watson and Shedeur were unjustly treated, right? I asked for a trade. Oh, let me pull up all your dirt. Shedeur Sanders, I'm under duress. Oh, you got 2 speeding tickets. looking, nitpicking for the smallest thing. That's why the school that picks him up, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes and where he goes. And it'll tell you about their moral compass. And they're going to be people that are watching to see where he goes. That's why when people said, oh, he could go to Notre Dame, they was like, oh, no, he's not going to Notre Dame. He's not going to a Baylor or Notre Dame or any school that has that type of moral code when it comes to their students. BYU could have looked the other way. They don't get down like that. BYU is serious about remaining chaste. People say he know what he signed up for when he went to BYU. A lot of people are coming down on the girl. They don't understand that he and this young lady, their lawyers came up to an agreement. Probably so he could move on. I was like, do a lot of people get that opportunity? I don't know. Let me see what y'all are saying. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It said, are you kidding? What kind of mess is going on here? Hey, how you doing, Val C? It said this is some mess here. Where is the media on this one? Nah, they're not talking about it. Like I said, you have to go and search for it. They're not talking about it. They're not talking about it at all. The complexion for the protection. That's what it is. And that's what I mean by they so eager to dismiss it so he can clear his path for the NFL. I'm like, okay, but when you let people get away with these types of things, look at Brett Favre. They let him get away with what? All these text messages to this woman. He was married to somebody else, yada, yada, yada. Then he goes on and does what? The fraud, the welfare system in Mississippi and refuses to take accountability for that. And he caught with it, and there's evidence of the conversations. He wanted to know would people find out where the money came from because the money that they used to build some arena where his daughter played volleyball, he wanted to know if other people were going to find out where it came from so he could say it was his. This is all documented. They don't talk about that. But say Michael Vick's name and people still want to go back to dogfighting. Any little thing. I thought the portal was closed. You can get in it. You can get in it at any time. I think it's the exiting of the portal that's the problem. I think you can hop into the portal anytime you want to. I think when it comes to schools getting you out, I guess it's not. I don't know how long he gonna have to be there. That's why I said I don't know if somebody can go get him out tomorrow. Maybe they can, but the portal's closed. That's what they said, and it doesn't open until is it the fall? Because there's a spring portal and a winter portal. Maybe there's one in the summer. But if somebody can get him off the portal, then and I don't know how it has a date, a opening and closing. It said, I believe if he was found guilty, it would curse their fiesta, their fiesta win to be null and void. Is that correct? When did oh you mean the Fiesta Bowl? I don't know. They beat us in the Alamo Bowl, but I don't think so. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if that works like that. I think if CU beats Georgia, then they got a good chance of going 12-0 in the regular season. If what? Oh, Georgia Tech. I'm like, oh, okay, okay, wait. I think if CU beats Georgia Tech, they have a good chance of going 12-0 in the regular season. I said the same thing. If Salter as is a running QB gets injured, we got Juju as backup. CU is solid at QB. Honestly, CU is solid at the quarterback position. If anything happened to Caden, Willie's correct. We got Juju. And if something happened to Juju, we got Ryan Staub. So we're solid at the quarterback position. The question is, what's that run game look like? We lost Isaiah Agostave. We still have Dallin Hayden. I think we still have Michael Walsh. Y'all said we still have Charlie Offerdall. He is still listed CU. That's three. Is that it? Did we get anybody else? When I hear all of the recruiting, I don't hear a lot about running back. I really don't. We get a lot of linebackers, O linemen. Hell, we get some DBs and some corners too. I'm going to need no more receivers in my opinion, but who the hell am I? Uh, but we don't get a lot of running backs. And I would imagine that with us having Marshall Falk, we ought to be solid with the run game. That's what I think. Yep. You got to wait until the portal opens to join. But once you join the portal, you can be picked up at any time. Okay, but he's in the portal now, and he just hopped in there. So I checked the portal. He's in there. I feel like he can't exit it because I thought maybe let me see the portal window. Let's look. Let's look. Because I checked the portal. He's definitely in there. Let's see. Is the NCAA football transfer portal open? It said no. The college transfer portal is not currently open. The spring window for undergraduate players to enter the portal closed on April 25th. Graduate students can enter at any time. Is he a grad student? Yeah, I think maybe he's a grad student. They say he had 1 year eligibility left. Is Jake Retzlaff a grad student in the portal? Let's see. Yes, he's a grad student. So there it is. It said, yes, Jake Retzlaff is a grad student and has entered the NCAA transfer portal. He transferred from BYU due to a pending 7-game suspension for honor code violation reportedly involving premarital relations, which surfaced during legal proceedings. Retzlaff has 1 year of NCAA eligibility. So, yes, he's a grad student. He's eligible to enter the portal without immediate restrictions. So, all right. So maybe that's why people felt like she went to Utah. Did she do this intentionally? Because they fell out and she trying to hurt him. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's gonna need some evidence. Um, then people said, was this all a setup? Because as soon as he entered the portal, they came to an agreement, meaning a joint dismissal, right? It wasn't like she said, I changed my mind. That's why I said I don't think she set him up. Now they could have been working together. They could have been working together. And he is a grad student. And if somebody is like, hey, we want you to leave BYU and come to our school, he only a 3-star. So I don't know why anybody would do that, especially right now. But he is a top 20 or top 25 QB. So, but Caden is number 15, probably should be ranked higher. Both Shador and Cam Ward were ranked low. When I say low, like 8 or 9, something like that, 7, 8, or 9. And what they became 1 and 2. So he's pretty much still on target to go to the NFL. Here it is right here. It says Jake Retzlaff out of the top 20, he's number 19. He's number 19. So, do y'all think this will have an effect on him in the NFL draft in 2026? Let me know your thoughts. Hey, brother, how you doing? Yes, he's a grad student. Yep. The players can jump in the portal if the head coach leaves. Oh, okay. They have like 10 days. That's what happened with this one school. That coach got hired somewhere else and everybody hopped in the portal. Marshall or something like that. Track Hawk is a new running back. Declan Taylor. That's somebody's nickname, Track Hawk. Is that his nickname? So we have another running back. Okay. It said the Giants probably will draft him in the first round. Probably. The Giants, the Saints, or the Cleveland Browns. Facts. Anybody that's tragic. Oh, let me tell y'all something funny that happened today. Okay. Now, I might share it tomorrow. But there's a video from the Tennessee Titans page. And it was the head coach, Brian Callahan. And he started off his conversation by saying, yeah, I've never had a quarterback that talks when I'm talking. And he was like, I'm gonna share it tomorrow so y'all can hear it. Cause I want to see what y'all make of it. Because I was like, why would you say that publicly? He was like, yeah, I've never had a quarterback to talk when I'm talking. So, I was like, hey, can you just do me a favor and tell me, do you need me to finish first or should I let you finish first? Why would you put that out there publicly? that he's talking over you basically, and that's new and different for him. But how he's still retaining the information the coach is saying, even though he's still talking. It kind of makes me feel like he's saying Cam is a little disrespectful. He was like, yeah, I never had a quarterback to talk when I'm talking. I'm like, see, this is what I mean by Tennessee don't deserve Cam. And this is what these teams do when they really didn't want to draft you. They treat you like it. They throw things out, about you. They use coded language, coded conversation. What does that say? Yeah, I've never had a quarterback to talk while I'm talking. What do you make of that? Honestly, what do you make of a coach saying that about their quarterback? It makes the quarterback seem problematic. And to me, it makes the coach messy. And it tells me the coach don't like his quarterback because you could have just had that conversation with him. Why do we have to know that? And then he dressed it up at the end and said, yeah, his ability to focus and retain information while that I'm telling him while he's still talking is not something that I could do. I was like, this is exactly what I mean by they did not want to draft Cam. That's exactly what I mean. They want to keep Will Levis, so now they making Cam seem problematic. Yes, that's his nickname. Oh, Trackhawk. Okay, so we have another running back. Okay, it said a backhanded compliment. There you go. It's like I'm gonna share this with the podcast. We still gonna look at it tomorrow. I'm gonna share it with the podcast so y'all can see. See, context matters, and I don't want to ever hold back any context if I tell you something. So yeah, we gonna look at it tomorrow. I want to see what y'all are saying, not just about what he started off saying, but how he ended it. I typed the comment under the video. I said, "This is slick hate." That's what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all see tomorrow. It said, and I bet Cam knows that so he doesn't respect him. Right, because that was like June 12th. And remember, Cam was interviewed right before everything wrapped up and said, yeah, I like coming out here and letting them know they can't with me. That's probably why he was like that. Because look how they trying to dig at him. You see, why would you tell the reporters that? That is a conversation between you and your quarterback. Hey man, let me finish what I'm saying, or I'm gonna why you not trying to establish some rapport with him so y'all can get y'all communication down. The media gotta know that. Why are you putting down your quarterback that you just guaranteed $48 million to? Because I have to pay you, but I don't have to like you, and I don't have to respect you. You need me to like you. All he doing is telling the media he don't like Cam. Like, why would you put that out there like that? The media don't need to know what the hell y'all internal conversations are about. And that's what they do when they don't want you. So a negative narrative can be started about Cam. There you go. There you go. It said he's giving breadcrumbs, right? By saying that to the media. Right. Why would you say that to the media? Thinking of myself, yeah, I do. I think about communications, professional communication. It's shit you don't even say that's not on a Teams call, let alone to the public. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't let things like that get out. And it's nothing wrong. Maybe y'all knew June 12th. What they knew each other for 2 weeks. So you basically telling the media what you think about this guy, and they laughing, but it ain't funny. It's unprofessional, and that's why that explains why he had the attitude or the mindset of, oh, I could like coming out here and letting them know they can't mess with me, because they've been messing with him. They've been taking digs at him. He is the number one overall pick. They did not want him. They drafted it so the NFL would not appear racist in the draft. And it's showing. It's showing. They didn't want Vince Young either. And after Steve McNair took them to the Super Bowl, they dismantled the team. So they couldn't get back. And Jeff Fisher had the audacity to be in his documentary about his death saying, yeah, it looked like something was wrong there. You shut up. You was wrong. That's who was wrong. You. That's who was wrong. I'm like, why is he in here? I'm like, he basically made him run a ground game. Like these teams, I swear, like these guys better than me, bro. Cause I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me for people to treat me like that publicly, right? I mean, there's a whole media press corps there. Y'all saw how Mary Cabot was doing Shador trying to dig at him in front of everybody. What is that called? So you trying to talk down up on me to the press? You trying to humiliate me? You trying to embarrass me? You trying to tell them I'm difficult? All they doing is setting up. So if they don't let him start, he can now say, "Well, he talk when I talk, and that's disrespectful." I told y'all about it. See, they do things like people say they use coded language. Why are you telling that to the media? And why are they laughing? Because y'all making fun of your $48 million quarterback. And since you had to draft him, that's your way of dealing with it. That's how you cope. Because you don't want him. I told y'all they never wanted him. You know what they were saying in the comments? He's still the least talked about number one overall pick ever. Tennessee can control that. Go look at their social media. He is not all over it. He is not all over it. Number seven is, I don't even know who that is. They had a few pictures from when they were in camp, but that's it. That interview, another throwing session, and that was it. Apparently, they didn't do their due diligence. Maybe if they had spent as much time with Cam as they did with Shador, maybe they would have. That's facts. Maybe they would have. They would gave us more of his personality. Right. You're not even trying to get to know this dude. What kind of scouting did y'all do? You just watched him throw the ball. You didn't get to know his social media or look and see. They didn't even know he and Shador were friends until they popped up at UNLV. Hell, that was the end of their workout sessions. They had been working out in Dallas doing the Shrine Bowl. They was at SMU. They had been in Miami together. They was somewhere else when Shador was asking for water. And every time Shador asked for water, Cam got something slick to say, right? So they basically got some tension happening. But I blame the coach because he's not trying to get to know this quarterback. He don't want this quarterback. But they guaranteed him $48 million to not appear racist. That's why they did it. No disrespect to Cam. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. What you're saying, Charlotte, is if they made an effort to look into him, they would have realized he's what some people say, quick with it. You know, he gonna always have some like a good comeback or whatever, right? And that doesn't mean that, and just because that's not something you do, or you say I've never had a quarterback too. Okay, does he have to be like the rest of your quarterbacks from the past? I mean, the last one you had failed. He not that guy. You ought to be happy with that. See, it's about making an effort to get to know the player. But when you don't want the player, you let everybody else know. You let them know, and you treat them as such. That's not how you start off what is supposed to be a 4-year relationship. This shit ain't gonna last. Mark my words. Chanel all day said, you seen that smirk Mary Catherine had on when she talked about Shador banned to the opposite field. She couldn't contain her joy. She laughed out loud. What happened? You said Shador is banned to the opposite field. No, I didn't see that. When was this? Was this recent? Cam always seemed like the arrogant one. Right. I mean, Cam always got something to say. That's just it. He told Travis, uh, he told Travis, you got drafted to Jacksonville to my, oh, I would want to go there. And Travis cussed him out. That's just who he is. Now, I don't think he mean nothing by it, but that's who he is. It shows you they didn't even get to know Cam. And they not trying. It said that ain't no surprise. Would you say that school has raisins in a potato salad? Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about BYU or are you talking about somebody else? That is hilarious. Oh Lord. Okay. I'm not sure you said, but that ain't no surprise. But yeah, it's just sad how uh they really don't know these guys. They really don't know these guys. Like I don't even know what they scouts do because they've interviewed both Cam and Shador. Shador interviewed extensively with the Browns, and the Browns said it out loud multiple times. They know exactly who Shador is. They know he gonna come in and work hard. Then why were you so condescending? Why are you upset that you got him for $4 million? You say you knew who he was. How did you know? You didn't interview him extensively to be the 144th pick. You interviewed him to be your number two pick. So you should be happy that you have him for $4 million. But it proves that the name of the game is keep away from QB1. And now Callahan, who I don't know how many quarterbacks he done been through, but I know at least three. Levis didn't work out. Malik Willis got traded after he got benched for Levis, who was a second round pick. They benched Willis for him. Willis ended up in Green Bay and he was balling out up there. Again, he up there stacked up there with who? Jordan Love. They don't try because that's not what they want. They treat Cam just like they treated Shador when he got to Cleveland. They just telling the media about it. And that's on social media. People are going to see that. It said when she talked about rookie minicamp, oh, there is an interview where she said far behind. She said the far behind and he was sent to the opposite. Yeah, she was rude doing rookie minicamp, which is what got her pushed to the desk. And that's how we ended up seeing Daniel Oyefuse because she was showing her hind parts. Yep, you're right about that. That was at camp. Yeah, she was the one that was basically telling everybody they were getting ready to make a cut. You see, they didn't make a cut. They didn't want to cut. The person they wanted to cut was Shador, but that wasn't gonna fly because he emerged to be the best. Then they realized, oh shit, we stuck. What do we do now? See, they thought not giving him first team reps, which is stupid because just because you don't give him first team reps doesn't mean he not gonna ball out. It's like they don't understand skills. They don't understand that if I ball out with the fourth string and then with the third string, I can already tell you what I'm gonna do as the talent gets better. They thought because the talent was fourth string that he wouldn't look good. But they don't know him because he develops his receivers. They don't know him either. When they said he had an entourage, you know what they meant? His social media team. The people that record for him. And Cleveland ought to feel foolish saying, yeah, a lot comes with him with a Hall of Fame father. What is that? Is he the first person in the league whose father was in the Hall of Fame? No. Randy Moss's son got a tryout with the team Randy Moss played for, the Vikings. How's that for nepotism? The same exact team. Did you see Shiloh or Shador have any association with the Falcons? No. But when the Falcon scout came out to see you the first year, he said he wanted to draft Shador and Shiloh. That was like the first or second week when Coach Prime started they practice up there over the summer. I'll never forget that. He said, yeah, we want to get both of the Sanders boys. Sure did. It was a black scout. Did you see the email you sent this evening? No, I have not seen it, Charlotte. I have not seen any email yet. I had 3 shows today, so I just kind of been going, going, going. But I'll take a look at it afterwards. What was it about? Let me see if I can look at it. Let's see. But yeah, it's just sad that they don't know these guys because they don't want to know these guys. That's really what it is. They don't want to know them. What does it say? Oh, what does it say? A rival scout. See, oh, okay. So Charlotte sent me email. I was taking a peek at it. Thank you, Charlotte. I was taking a peek at it. Jerry sent me a few too. I haven't looked at yet. Uh Here's the thing, they gonna stay on Shador. They could be talking about Aaron Rodgers, they could be talking about Retzlaff, They can be talking about the mock draft 2026 because they already kind of having that conversation. Their job is to stay on Shador so it can somehow justify the decision they're going to make when it's time to play. It's the same play from the draft. I even said it. I said, they dragging Shador because the Giants going to make an asinine move. And they did. And now they're trying to do the same thing. They just running it back in the regular season because the goal is to play keep away with QB1. Why do you think it is that Brian Callahan is telling the media that when he's talking, his quarterback is talking? We don't even know what he means. Why do you think he's telling that to the media? Because he's selling a negative narrative, because when he makes the decision to play Will Levis, everybody will understand that he's difficult. He hard to work with. He talks over me. He don't listen. He's selling the media a negative narrative about Cam because they plan to do what? They have him competing with the guy that failed. You don't think that they know Cam is better than Will Levis? Yeah, they know that. That's also a fake competition because they want to do what? Justify benching the number one overall pick, just like they did last year with Michael Penix Jr. He wasn't number one overall, but he was a first rounder. Who benches a first rounder? That's not typical. That's not typical at all. So Tennessee is just setting you up for them not to play Cam. They'll play him when they want to. He doesn't have to be our QB1, even though he was the best. So you know what they're doing? They're devaluing Cam. They're making him appear difficult. That's what they did to Shador in the draft. And he number 16. He the halfway. See, they know when the season starts. See, now that you could kind of see the landscape shaking out, right? And I said I was going to update our chart so we could look at it again and see who's where. They know that holding Shador back is just one away from 17. Technically, with Anthony Richardson out, it's really 15. Cam is really back down to 15. Shador is 16. But see, they know how it goes. They know people get hurt. That's why they're talking about taking Milroe from QB2 and pushing him to QB3. Because the goal is to play keep away with QB1. Do you think the NFL cares if we know that or not? Do you think they would try to deny that? Or do you think they will be arrogant about it, given the climate that we live in? Just like somebody put up a whites only sign. That's essentially what they are doing. Cleveland Sky reporting Shador had attitude during the draft. Yep. They just gonna keep on with it because they're just trying to set up justification for the next decision. And now it's Cam and Shador. See, you don't see Milrose. You don't know what he's going through. I mean, he might be safe because they think he's so far out of reach. They even talking about putting, I think, Andrew Locke in front of him, who's third string right now. So again, why did you draft him if you just wanted him to be your third string QB? And why would you draft somebody who's talented like he is to be your third string QB? They trying to get these guys so far in the back. Why? Because next year, when I draft, Lenore Sellers puts me right back in my same situation, especially if Anthony Richardson comes back. And if somebody get hurt, say Sam Darnold, or he doesn't perform, and then Milroe gets up there. So they trying to move these guys as far back as they can. They're trying to make sure that what this draft class, the historical implications of it, they trying to make sure that don't happen. Shocked to see that video from Tennessee. You know why? Because that wasn't a new video. That was from like June 12th. And somehow it just popped up in my feed as if I haven't been on Instagram since June 12th. I'm pretty sure I've been on Instagram every day. I might not post every day. I post stories every day. But for some reason, that popped up in my feed today. So when I went to go find the video, I had to scroll through because June 12th was a ways back. And I was like, so this isn't new, but it still popped up on my radar because it wasn't right. And it shows you that what we've been saying about them, how they treating Cam, it makes no sense. That this is your number one overall pick and you're trying to devalue him. You're trying to say he's difficult. You're trying to make him compete like he's not good enough. That should show you what they're capable of, which is another reason why Lenora Seller's father should have took the money. Shador shouldn't take QB1 unless they pay him for it. Facts. That's my thinking. Cause see, I could see what they trying to do. They like, no, 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 he not good, he not good. Then they gonna get out there and go win us a Super Bowl, boy. That's what they did to Michael Penix Jr. Somebody messed it up and he had to fix it. When he could have just started and they could have won. They didn't care about losing. They don't care about the money that they paid Cam. They don't care about he's the number one overall pick and what that means. It means something else for a white quarterback. But as a black quarterback, you still got to compete. But they want to grab Archie Manning right out of UT and they don't even know if he good. But they want to go off the strength of his name. So all of that heckling that Cam was doing to Shador, everything Shador told him, oh, they gonna come for you too. And here we are. I'm sure that's not what he meant to this extent, but it's happening. I'm sure he thought it was just specific to the media. Because what this Shador say, don't listen to them. They trying to drop my draft stock. He thought it was specific to the media. I don't think any of them had an idea of how bad these teams are in terms of holding back black quarterbacks. They don't. 17-32 is the end game. Facts. And it becomes more and more apparent every day. And I feel like that's why I saw that post today. Because it does prove 17-32 is what it's about. Why would I take my number one overall QB, who I paid $48 million guaranteed? I got to pay him rain, snow, sleet, hail, or whatever, and make him look stupid to the public, mock him to the public, make him look difficult to the public. Because I didn't want him anyway. And I had to draft him. See, that's why the New York Giants went on the offensive to basically tell all of us, we're not getting Shador. Not that anything is wrong with Shador, but they couldn't justify turning down his skill set, so they had to lie on his character. That's exactly why. Because they didn't want to have to draft him. Tennessee had to draft Cam, and now you see it. The Jaguars could have traded up to the number one pick to get Travis, but they wanted to rub it in Shador's face. Cleveland talking about, oh, we did well with what we got from the Jaguars. I'm like, you ain't gonna do nothing with it. So what difference do it make? You ain't gonna do shit with it. Not nothing. But screw up somebody else's career, especially if they a quarterback. Oh, we want to get a, you know what? I want you to get another quarterback. I want you to get somebody else and send Shador on his way, wherever the hell that is, so he can be free of that toxicity. That is the Cleveland Browns. Nobody will hold these teams accountable. Cleveland throwing it up. We gonna get somebody next year. Thank God. Threaten Shador with a good time. That's what they want. They trying to dig at him. They tried it with the draft. Oh, he's dropping down to number 6, as if that was far from 1 or 2 or 3. Right? He like, I didn't care. Oh, he's falling to 21. He like, cool. I like Mike Tomlin. He remind me of my dad. Reporters got upset because he didn't say much about other than I like him. They couldn't get under his skin. They still trying to get under his skin. Oh, we gonna get our franchise quarterback next year. Like, you not our franchise quarterback. Of course he not, because you didn't pay him franchise money. And if you stupid enough to pay him $48 million and go get somebody else, he's still gonna get paid. So, and they trying to find a way to dig at Shador. They felt like the speeding ticket was all they could use, so they were harping on it incessantly until Retzlaff came up and they're like, oh, maybe we better shut up. But they'll probably just go right back to it because they don't have nothing else until these people come back from camp. Then all they're going to be talking about the week before camp is Shador going to get first team reps. They finally stopped talking about Shador like he truly is a fourth-string quarterback. I don't know if y'all picked up on that or not, but you can't say that no more. It's stupid. People will come at you and tell you, we see he's the best. See, they can say whatever if we can't see it. That's like Callahan talking about Cam. He's talking when I'm talking. I don't know what the hell he means by that. That could mean a couple of things. But then he want to kind of clean it up at the end. No, you slick hating on your $48 million guaranteed quarterback because you don't want him, and it proves why it is you were trying to trade that pick until a few days before the draft or before draft week. The day that they said Cam leaked that he was going to Tennessee was the day Tennessee decided to keep that damn pick. And they announced it on Monday. They did not want Cam, and they need a quarterback. They don't want him to be a starter. No, they don't want Shador to be a starter at all. That's why they dropped him down. They was gonna make him damn near probably Mr. Irrelevant or undrafted free agent, or he was gonna be in what's his name? Quinn Ewers? They made Quinn Ewers the 13th quarterback in the draft. He was offered $6 million to stay at school for another school, to go to another university. And he figured he would get drafted in the third round, which is clearly more than $6 million. Or the late second or early third round, he probably would have got about maybe 9 or the same money. But he would have lived out his dream. See, he should have came out of school 2 years ago. Last year and year before. That should have been it for him. Hit the like button for me, please. Hit the like button. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 51 of us, 30 people hit the like button. Just take a moment, look down, and hit the like button. But I think Retzlaff's situation and the fact that how people are trying to spin it without even reading by saying, well, I'm not a lawyer. I can't talk about the specifics. You don't have to. It's summed up right on the internet. She did not drop the charges. They made an agreement. That does not mean he's innocent. And based on what she alleged, there have to be photos. And if the teeth thing really came into play, that ain't the first time. And there's somebody else out there somewhere. And it shows you that they're okay with him leaving BYU and not wanting to be held accountable at BYU. But Shador got speeding tickets. And he don't just have speeding tickets for the hell of it. He got speeding tickets after he been dealing with what? After his father lost 15 to 20 pounds after they scapegoated the hell out of him in the draft. And I know Shador knows that he got robbed. Even though he made more money elsewhere, he should have had his $30 million signing bonus plus the 25 he already made. People are saying the NFL needs to get over themselves because these players have NIL. I'm like, so what else they need to get over themselves about? Because this ain't just about money. This is not just about money. When the guys who played in the league that are black allude to the fact that it's because Shador grew up wealthy, they letting the NFL off the hook. What else is it about Shador? When the NFL said, the NFL insider said to Mel Kiper Jr., the NFL doesn't want quarterbacks like Shador Sanders now. You mean because he's wealthy? Then why they over here mistreating Cam? When they said they don't want quarterbacks like Shador, they were talking about black quarterbacks that can start. They don't want black quarterbacks who are elite that can start, which is why the top 5 coming out next year, 4 of them are white. Lenore Sellers is black. Why do you think they included the Lenore Sellers? For the same reason Cam was drafted to Tennessee. So y'all wouldn't say, it's racist. So it will confuse you. But having one black friend does not mean you're not racist. So that's not a valid argument. Just look at how they treated the quarterbacks from this draft class in the first round. Was there anybody else outside of Cam, Shador, and Milroe that were black? Or were they the only three? 13 quarterbacks went. Was everybody else white? Says a lot. Because I don't know what you think going to happen next year. Hell, it might just be Lenore Sellers and maybe one other guy, but he going to be way at the bottom. Believe me. They already setting it up as to who's one, two, three, and four. They all white. That's a reversal of the last few years. You know how long it's been since the top three quarterbacks are white in the NFL? It's been a long time. Probably before Russell Wilson. Geno Smith, maybe. 2011, 2013. That's over 10 years ago. That's what they're trying to do. That's why everything you hear about these quarterbacks coming out, only Lenore Sellers, and he's five. And when they had that camp, the Manning passing camp, I have to look again, but I don't think I saw Lenore Sellers. That ought to make his daddy rethink what he said. He ought to go, you know what? Let me have a conversation with you. Is that offer still staying? Keep him in school for 2 more years. Get your $8 million. Let him be set before he goes to the NFL because he gonna have to deal with some bullshit. And it's better that he got 8 million in the bank, or at least 7 or 7.5, and his family's taken care of, rather than getting to the NFL and trying to make that happen under all the stress of being a black quarterback. All of the fugazi you got to deal with because they don't want you in this role, and they had to do it. It's always about power and the politics of control. Yep. Coach Prime is a change agent. Shador was under that his whole life, and people are surprised that Shador is acting like a change agent. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of was thinking he had something to do with Deshaun Watson taking Shador under his wing. You know why? They said Coach Prime was very supportive of Deshaun Watson when he had his Achilles injury. So they thought maybe Deshaun Watson was returning the favor and being supportive of Shador. Just like Travis went fishing. I can see where people are like, oh shit, when Travis was seen fishing in Dallas, right? You do know that when that came out, that he was mentoring both Dylan and Shador, but he's taking Shador under his wing. That's just like Travis fishing with Coach Prime in Dallas on camera and people seeing that. Oh shit, you really think people want Deshaun Watson talking to Shador Sanders? Haven't they been through the same thing? Why would I want them talking? Somebody about to get traded. I'm like, because they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. That's like a guy being in a restaurant and his side chick and his main chick are both in there. Do you think he want them talking? No, they don't want them talking. So when I read that and I saw how they intentionally put separate, he's mentoring both, but he's taking Shador under his wing. I was like, what? I'm like, that might be that leverage to shake something up. They don't want them talking. The NFL know what they did to Shador was wrong. They know what they did to Deshaun. We don't. Not all of it. I know enough. But we don't know everything. We don't know the exact reason. We don't know the tipping point of, you know what, we're going to offer you a $230 million contract. We don't know that. You think they want him telling that to Shador, who the NFL just did wrong? That's called karma. That's what that is. They don't want that. So when I read that Coach Prime had been supportive of Deshaun and Deshaun was returning the favor, I said, "Oh shit, this like Travis going fishing." So let's see what happens. It said, "I can't believe That man made his son turn down $8 million. Me either, Willie. People tell me he gotta be lying. I'm like, I don't know. See, some people have picked me behavior. He was like, you have the opportunity to do something special at South Carolina. Loyalty is more important. Relationships. I'm like, man, what? There's no way you were in the South talking like that. You must be from up north, like Canada, because ain't no way you down the South in South Carolina talking that foolishness after what just happened in the draft. And that's another person that's probably arrogant and thinking, oh, that's just the Sanders. That ain't gonna happen to my boy. All right. Because they showed including your son in the top five because he probably the only one. But I suggest he pull up a chair and talk to Cam or Milrow. And were they the only three out of the 13? And if so, that tells you a lot. Malik Murphy at Oregon State should be the number one draft prospect. He beat Arch Manning when they were at Texas together. Question: Malik Murphy, is he a senior? Is he supposed to be coming out? Because his name ain't on the list. Let's see who on the list. I'm a roll off the names and we're gonna get ourselves out of here. Y'all know who number one is. Cade Klubnik from Clemson, Garrett Nussmer from LSU. Didn't y'all say that somebody's the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, the GM in New Orleans? Drew Allar from Penn State, Sam Levitt from look like Arizona State. Lenore Sellers is number 5 from South Carolina. Now Lenore Sellers and Sam Levitt are tied both with 91 QBRs. I guess that's what they are. Um, Maybe because Arizona State went to the Natty semifinals. That's why he's up higher. John Mater from what school he went to? Mater went to Oklahoma. Carson Beck, Miami. Blake Horvath, where he went to school? Navy. Been a long time since somebody from Navy was up there. Arch Manning is number 9. DJ Lagway from Florida is number 10. Number 11 is Avery Johnson from, I don't know that mascot. Oh, Avery. That's the little fella that was doing the little Coach Prime dance. Kansas State. He number 11. Number 12 is Kevin Jennings from SMU. Number 13 is Darian Mensah. The one that got Darian Mensah is number 13 on the list. He got $8 million to play for 2 years at Duke. So I wonder if he even coming out this year. Unless he got $4 million last year and he get $4 million this year and he free to go. Now that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And Lenore Sellers is number 5 and his dad turned down the same money. And they only wanted his son. I think they said 2 years. $4 million a year for 2 years. $8 million. And you're going to turn it down talking about loyalty, relationships, and you can do something special at South Carolina. Shit don't matter. They not going to the NFL for free. Hell, if that was the case, Retzlaff could have stayed at BYU if it was nothing to gain. He would have been like, well, I'm going to just stay here and ride out my time. He leaving because he thinks he has an opportunity in the NFL and he not going to miss it to sit on the bench for 7 months about a school that he could care less about when he leave. Luke Altimer, Caden Salter is number 15. At least they got Caden on here. And you know he's probably ranked higher than that. They have him with an 88. Caden is a dog. He going to be up there. Nico Lavalama is on the list. He's 16 from UCLA. Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt is on the list. Rocco Becht from Iowa State is on the list. And Jake Retzlaff. They took his school off. They don't even have him with BYU. He don't even have a school, and he ranked number 19. Why didn't he just fall out the top 20? You only have a school. How you ranked and you don't have a school? Sawyer Robertson from Baylor. Oh, I remember him. He's number 20. So that's the guys from right now. So at least Caden is on the list because at one point they wasn't even talking about him. But the top 5, 4 white quarterbacks and Lenore Sellers. Caden is going to get up there. Watch what I tell you. I think Caden could bring us the Heisman back. See, they hyped up Carson Beck last year. They had him at number one and he's still in school. So that's subject to change. That's why I don't really get into that. But I do kind of look at it to see what they trying to do, right? And this will be the first time in I don't know how many years the top five quarterbacks coming out are all white. I feel like Lamar Jackson, I think his class, 2020, that might have been one of the last classes that the top five were black. And they pushed him down to 32. He was a Heisman winner, so he should have been up there. And they wouldn't have been able to do that then, but they snubbed him. And that's why they got away with it. All right, we getting ready to wrap up. Let's see what we have here. It said Geno Smith was cutting up at overtime 7-on-7 game. Well, I didn't know he was there. I'm gonna have to look at that. Okay. Was he talking to Shador? Because I know they know each other. It said you must be from up north, like from Canada. Yeah, for real. When you from the deep fried south, you know better. You know better. And if you from up north, you know enough about the south to know that's not the world we live in. I'm like, shoes, OC coordinator for the Saints. Oh, okay, not the coach, but the OC offensive coordinator. So they probably gonna try to get and I'm sure with Archie Manning's help, his son will get to the Saints. If the young man doesn't play well and doesn't get drafted, it will be a damn shame that he didn't take that money. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, sir, if you married, you putting your marriage on the line. Because if that was your idea and your wife was like, no, but and he like, no, I know this my area now. This my area, this our son, and I think he might have went to school there. I don't know. Or he know where it's at. Oh, he know where it's located at. For some reason, he wanted to put himself out there. Like uh he wasn't living in the world that we live in and definitely not in 2025. I'm like, sir, you better go back and get that money. That's why people like he better be lying. That's gonna be a problem. It said Caden will be there after the first 3 games of the season. Fact. What I'm gonna tell y'all something. If we beat Georgia Tech, whoever said it, Willie, I think it was Willie. If we beat Georgia Tech, I kind of agree with Willie or whoever said we got a clear shot at it. We got a clear shot to go all the way. We might get stopped by one school, but because I think remember when we did the prediction for the schedule when it first came out, we said 11-1. Some of us were like, yeah, we might lose one game, but I don't know. I think if we beat Georgia Tech, it sets up the momentum for Colorado to build on, right? But one thing about CU, see, you can't let your guard down because Shador and Travis gone. You can't be crazy and think, oh, we good now. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You can't have any close games because if you have, that's the only way they took down CU. If the only the way the ref could get to CU is if we have a close game. And then they use those 3 calls that they have discretion on: holding, taunting, and pass interference. So they have to go in it with that mentality of your technique has to be good. You got to come out strong. You got to take the lead and not look back, and it can't be close. And then they're going to get there. But they have to remember, just because Travis and Shador and everybody else gone, the problems are not gone. The refs will still be there. Not sure Gino talking smack to someone. Oh, okay, okay, all right. It said Adrian Charles, Michigan State is a real good QB. He's a junior. Okay, Malik Murphy is a senior. Oh, okay, okay. I'm gonna have to look at him. It said next year draft class is trash. Anthony said next year draft class is trash. It said did Travis turn down millions? When Travis was at CU, okay, this is what it was. Just like the summer, like it is now. They just left Jackson State. They get to CU. It's the summer. 3 schools got together and offered Travis $1.5 million to leave Coach Prime's program. They didn't care where he went. And they weren't going to let him play both ways. See, that's the thing with Travis. He couldn't go to school anywhere. No, there's not a lot of people that believe if Travis went to Florida State as he originally intended, that he would have played on both sides of the ball. He wouldn't have. Look look at how much effort and conversation there was about him doing it in the NFL. And his contract has him listed as a two-way player, as an athlete playing offense and defense. And people said it would never happen. They said it would never happen. His contract is paying him for it. It's set up that way. He went in the draft that way. So it's happening. Now let's see how long before we see him on both sides of the ball. And I think the first preseason game, we might see him. They might put him out there and let him take a snap or two and just kind of keep going with the other guys to see how it goes. That's what I think. So, okay, so my laptop is not plugged in. It said my battery is about to go out. So I guess we're gonna have to continue tomorrow. Hit the like button for me. That 50 of us hit the like button. It says, yeah, it was me. Okay, Willie, that was you. I agree with you. I agree with you. So while Travis was offered money, Travis's situation was unique. He couldn't just go anywhere because they weren't going to give him the opportunity that Coach Prime gave him. Coach Prime was a saving grace for Travis. Think about it. That's how he got his contract, and 39 other people are still waiting. K Salt would be dominant. Facts, Jerry. Facts. Facts. And I'm getting ready to read my email too, Jerry. I didn't have a chance to respond earlier. Okay, y'all. So we're going to get out of here. This was excellent. So Retzlaff's situation doesn't seem to be a sham. It seems to be exactly what it says. Something happened. He didn't want to stay there and deal with the 7-game suspension. So he hit the transfer portal. He's a graduate, so they could get him out. Let's see how long he stays there, and let's see where he ends up. It might shed some light. But he is still the number 19 quarterback out of the top 20 in college, and he don't have a school. So there you go. Chances are it's not going to affect his draft stock if he's still in the top 20 and he don't have a school. All right. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll be back. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. This was awesome. Please hit the like button on your way out. Y'all typically do a good job of that. Subscribe if you're new to us. Willie, if you want to hang out with us, subscribe, hit the like button. And for those of you that hang out with us all the time, become a member. Every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have member-only live streams. So y'all get to join that conversation. Otherwise, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll be back. Turn your notifications on. I'll schedule live about an hour or so before we go live, just to make sure everybody gets it. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Good night, everybody. Good night, fam. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.